Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
You're listening to the Sports Blast.
We got entertainment for the whole family.
With Ashish Sharma.
They lost. You know why they lost? Because Tony Romo could not get it done. That's been his track record his entire career, is that he chokes. Yes, he deserves all the blame in the world.
Brian Roach.
Can we just call him Who Man? I'm just going to call him Who Man.
Call him Who Man.
Yeah.
That's the way the broadcasters get away with it, guys.
We would just be idiots saying nonsense.
David Pollard.
Louis Erickson's got to keep his head up there. That's hockey 101. You learn that in mites. Keep your head up or you're going to get decked.
Okay. All right. Good talk, Coach. Thanks.
And Mark Lozelle.
And he pulled a trade to get draft picks. For what reason?
To use them.
To use them. Do you use them in trades or do you use them as draft picks?
Well, you can both. You can use it both.
Only on ESPN New Hampshire.
Give me baseball and hockey, crab cake and football.
How do you like them, man?
ESPN New Hampshire, 900 AM Nashua.
Sorry, Dave, finish your thought. What were you saying?
I forget.
And 1250 AM Manchester.
This is awesome.
No, that doesn't work. No, don't ruin it. No.
And ESPNNewHampshire.com.
Game on! Game on!
It is so good to be back on a Saturday. I gotta tell you, I was not really used to those Sundays where we were in. What was it, 10 to noon on one day and then 10 to 1 last week?
Right.
Yeah,
Slightly off-putting, I guess. Back into the swing of things this week.
Yeah, just glad to be back at our normal time as usual. Here every Saturday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. You are listening to the Sports Blast. Glad to be back. Ashish Sharma, Brian Roach, David Pollard, and Mark Lozelle here with you. Got a jam-packed show as always. We have Ricky Doyle from Nesson.com will be joining us to talk Red Sox baseball later. But I want to start, guys, by talking about yesterday's home opener, which was slightly disappointing, especially in the ninth inning. But one thing that wasn't disappointing was the opening ceremonies with the rings and the tribute to the Boston Fire Department, and it was just so well done, and really enjoyed it. And Brian and I were actually there to watch it in person.
Fun times, yeah.
Yeah, you work at Fenway as a greeter. I was there just as a fan, and it was a lot of fun to just be there and watch it.
Yeah, it was absolutely disappointing once the game actually got underway. It was a pretty good game all the way up until the ninth inning when Edward Mujica came in there and blew it. But the ceremony itself was really fantastic. I mean, they did it up. The banner being dropped to the Jurassic Park theme was probably the highlight of it for me, but it made me want to watch Jurassic Park. And at the same time, the whole thing with honoring the firefighters, honoring the victims of the marathon bombing, everything that they did, just that opening video as well was quite something, going over the journey that the 2013 Red Sox had all the way to the World Series. Great opening ceremony. Good job by the Red Sox and their organization at Fenway Park.
Yeah, it was a truly special moment. Fenway Park has been arguably the most storied ballpark in baseball, if not the best ballpark in baseball. And, it's just another moment for the city of Boston, especially going through tragedies. And, Obama said it correct. Sports it enlightens the moment. It really lightens the moment.
Right, and it's again, it's your escape from reality, and it's the way that a city can recover is by following a sports team. And the Red Sox, the Bruins last year, the Bruins took it all the way to the finals, couldn't win the cup, but you had the Red Sox, obviously, they win the World Series against the Cardinals.
Bruins will make another run.
The Bruins are going to be making another run this year, and we had the recent tragedy in Boston on Boylston Street with the fire and the Beacon Street. Beacon Street. And Boylston Street on the mine there as well. Yeah. But it's quite something what this city has gone through over the past year, and it's amazing that the city's been able to really rally behind teams like the Bruins and the Red Sox, the Patriots, but particularly the Red Sox with their World Series championship.
It was strong.
It was really it was something great to follow, and now that journey is complete. The 2013 season's done. 2014 season has begun.
Yeah,
and
I
it's time
think
to start a new journey.
That's something that really gave the Red Sox closure as to, last year you can finally close the chapter on the 2013 season and look forward now that they got their rings and had the ceremony and opened at home. And, I have to say, one of my favorite parts of the ceremony wasn't one of the planned parts. When the Brewers were coming out, someone tripped and fell out
Willie
of the
Peralta.
Yeah, the starting
pitcher for tonight, right?
Yeah.
I saw that live, and I remember
tried
everyone...
to cut away.
yeah, you were watching it live on, what was it, on TV, right?
Right.
Or were they broadcasting online? I don't know if they were showing it on television as well, but
they
were showing it on
had a
NESN?
live stream on WCVB and NESN.
Okay, so you saw it.
Yeah.
You got that.
They made an attempt to cut away, but it was a long fall. I mean, he took
was
a
an
trip.
ugly
He tried to catch himself for a while
He
before
tripped
actually.
over like a wheelbarrow.
A wheelbarrow just randomly in front
I
of the
think
dugout?
so. Hold on, let me
Yeah,
look
you'll
at
look it up. But a
wheelbarrow, right?
Yeah, a barrel. You're saying.
He
right?
just looked ridiculous.
No,
I mean,
like one of the things you.
Yeah, you're saying a wheelbarrow?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you said wheelbarrow.
Yeah,
That's what it's
wheelbarrow.
called. It's not a barrel.
It's a barrow. It's a wheelbarrow.
barrow.
B-A-R-R-O-W.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Are you
Barrow.
serious?
Yeah.
I've been going my entire life thinking it was a wheelbarrow.
Wait, you call it a wheelbarrow?
Yeah, me too.
It's not a barrel.
I mean, when you do that race at like Labor Day parties, it's the wheelbarrow race, isn't it?
No,
now
it's the wheelbarrow.
now I'm even having trouble saying it.
It's
all right.
B-A-R-R-O-W, barrow.
Fine, you just blew my mind, and
You thought it was wheelbarrow?
My vernacular just got one word shorter and one word larger.
Wait, Mark,
it's the New England accent, but I guess me and Dave are.
How is it a barrel?
I mean, it is sort of a barrel-shaped thing, isn't it?
Not.
Like
it's a tub, if anything.
yeah, but
Yeah,
I mean,
you still
still,
put
it's,
stuff in
what's
it.
a barrow?
I don't know.
Why wouldn't it be a barrel?
All right, so he just tripped over himself actually. So
Right,
that makes it even worse.
Yeah, he definitely tripped over himself. I didn't see a wheelbarrow out there.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't know what you're talking about, Brian. I don't know where you got that. But then again,
I read it somewhere. Okay.
I was in straightaway center, so I didn't really catch what caused it. I just saw him fall, and then I was like, okay, buddy, like you're not even starting today, and your jersey's dirty, so that just looks awful.
Yeah, just wait till he gets. He's a lefty, right? He's gonna get hammered by this lineup if he's a lefty.
I hope so. So let's get to opening impressions from this first week of baseball. Just first of all, so glad to be back in the baseball mindset. As we were talking about over the last few shows, spring training baseball gets so dreary. Nice to have
Except for Brian.
Except for Brian, regular season baseball is back.
I just love baseball so much.
I do too. I love
respect
baseball.
that,
Yeah,
Totally. I just think spring training means nothing.
yeah.
I
And-
also think the
because
same
it doesn't-
thing.
No, but that's
Right.
no. But Brian, that's how I feel about all preseason, like preseason football, basketball, like any type of preseason just gets so boring.
Yeah, it's played out, and you can't really take everything seriously. But I mean, what did happen in preseason? We got to see Grady Sizemore outperform Jackie Bradley and sort of seize the role as center fielder on the team. One of the things that I'm waiting to happen is when is John Farrell going to put Grady Sizemore in that leadoff spot? I mean, I know they want to ease him into it.
Yeah,
I give it 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they don't want to kind of thrust him into that role too soon. Obviously, he had a great opener with he had a single and then a home run, and then he drove in a run yesterday. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I don't think he was credited with the RBI because the run came in on an error.
Yeah.
But he's been swinging the bat well, and Jackie Bradley Jr. Obviously, we can go back to the opener, and when he took that high strike to end the game, obviously everyone was on him, and then he had a great game in his first start.
Very true.
Where he knocked in a run and had a couple of hits.
2 for 5.
I think you are seeing a situation here where Grady Sizemore is going to need rest, some maintenance days, and that'll be time where Jackie Bradley Jr. can go in and make an impact. And don't forget, like, Shane Victorino, we don't know. I mean, again, we think we'll have him back mid-April,
Yeah.
right? But if there are any setbacks,
I heard it's going to
Jackie
take
Bradley
20,
Jr. is
25
right there.
days.
Yeah,
not-
Jackie Bradley
not
Jr. is right
mid-April,
there.
so.
And here's the thing. You've got Johnny Gomes who's coming off the bench. You've got Mike Karp who's playing more than he should, in my opinion. If Jackie Bradley Jr. can sort of replicate what he did in Baltimore and just kind of get on base and get his confidence up, start him in right field.
Can I take credit for that analogy?
What did you say?
Because I said you should platoon Grady Sizemore and
True.
Jackie
No.
Bradley.
You said platoon in center field. I said get him reps consistently in right field. I don't want him playing one day and then sitting another.
Yeah,
and
but
playing
then you guys said you want him in Pawtucket where he can play every day.
I do, but if
Well,
he's going
I
to
want
get
him to
consistent
play
reps, and
every
I
day.
want him to
I
play
don't know
every
what
day. If
John
he can,
Farrell's
yeah,
doing.
no, if he can play every day until Victorino comes back in right field, that's fine because I think it's detrimental to his own development if he's sitting on the bench.
Yeah, but see, he's been back and forth in and out of the lineup these past 4 games. So there's no consistency there. I mean, you got Nava and Gomes and Karp.
We're
all
thinking that's a
playing
bad move on John Farrell's part and the Red Sox part.
Oh,
Yeah,
for
I don't
sure.
think Karp should be playing as much as he is. He was in the starting lineup yesterday.
I like Karp.
and I didn't
Give me
like.
more
I don't
Karp.
like him defensively.
Karp,
yesterday
Karp,
he had a
Karp,
couple of
Karp.
plays where he just didn't play the wall well. The ricochet off the wall with some of the balls that went to left field. Gomes, surprisingly, when he came in last year, I was like, oh, he's a defensive liability.
No,
but he
he's
was
not.
fantastic
Oh, yeah.
defensively
that
last year.
That double play just is still in my mind when he the extra innings game that he caught the ball and ran to second.
Yeah.
What I think the Red Sox are doing is increasing the trade value of Mike Karp and Johnny Gomes. I know you need them for depth just in case Victorino gets injured and Grady Sizemore. But if you want to give Bradley reps, one of them has to go.
No, I think it's good the way it is. I feel like this
for the time being.
The team's chemistry is perfect.
I think that there's a lot that they have at their disposal, and for that reason, they don't need to rush anything.
Yeah,
I would like to see Grady Sizemore in that leadoff spot, but again, doesn't need to be rushed. You can ease him into it. I know, and I might be slightly impatient on that one thing because I think Daniel Nava has not really done a good job in that leadoff position.
2 runs in the second game.
That's all well and good, but he's not a prototypical leadoff hitter. He's probably one of their worst base runners, so
he's a bad base runner, but his OBP was the best on the team last year.
Sure, but that has nothing to do with base running. That has to do with getting on base. He has
Exactly.
OBP, which you need in a leadoff guy, but as Dave said, he's not a prototypical leadoff guy. Grady Sizemore is.
What I love about Daniel Nava, though, he works the count, and he makes the pitch count go up from the get-go.
Yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing that, and we'll get to AJ Pierzynski, but he does not fit in this lineup in terms of the the approach that they take to the plate.
Before yesterday's game, he saw 20 pitches in 8 plate appearances.
That's awful.
And in one game, he saw 9 in 4. Okay,
call up Christian Vasquez.
Daniel Nava will see 9 in 1 at bat.
Question: a statement about Pierzynski. One of those at bats he saw 5, so the other 3 he saw 4 pitches.
My goodness. Yeah, I remember yesterday at the game. I was at the game with my buddy, and he came up. I think in his second at bat, I said $20 says he swings at the first pitch, and he was like, "I wouldn't even make that bet with you because he is."
Pierzynski is a veteran coming in on this team. I don't think there's any way that they're going to try and change his approach.
No,
granted he's had some success
at the most
with it.
strikes and at the most balls. So
he's a hacker.
Yeah,
that's what he is.
He swings at 85% of strikes and 49%
he has the
of
Vlad
balls.
Guerrero thing where he just goes up and
except Vlad Guerrero was good.
No, but here's the thing about AJ Pierzynski, and I heard someone say this earlier this week. The guy's hit 300 4 times in his career, so obviously it works for him.
Sometimes.
Right. You're not going to try and change a guy who's that far into his career. Whereas
Yeah.
you have all the younger players that have come up through the organization. John Farrell can say, this is how we do it. We're going to develop you in this manner. Pierzynski's already done things the way he's done it.
The real Pierzynski is the one that's behind the plate.
I mean, I like him defensively.
Huge target.
Yeah, I like him defensively. I mean, he gunned down a guy yesterday, which I really like.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, speaking of getting gunned down, Dustin Pedroia got thrown up by 2 miles yesterday.
I don't know what he was doing.
I don't know what he was doing.
He needs a little giddy up in his step.
But yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, our production meeting yesterday, I was telling Brian, I don't know how John Lester saw AJ Pierzynski giving the pitching signs. I can't even see it on TV. I'm like, John Lester has X-ray vision with Pierzynski.
Why? Because his thighs are so big?
I don't know, but
he is a big man.
Yes,
he is a big man, but I can't even see it. I was waiting for Saltalamacchia move, paint your nails and
a lot of catchers do that.
Yeah, but AJ Pierzynski has been up to par.
Yeah, and he's a good defensive. I mean, he's not a great defensive. He's a good defensive catcher. He'll throw out guys at second. Again, not like Gold Glover by any means, but he's obviously an upgrade over Saltalamacchia. Obviously an upgrade over if you go back a few years, Jason Varitek. But not a guy that's going to see a lot of pitches offensively.
Yeah.
And but he's a good game caller. I mean, the guy's caught a couple perfect games. He's caught another couple no hitters. So that's I think what they went out and got with AJ Pierzynski is a guy that you can put behind the plate. And again, he stays healthy. He's played in 120 games in 6 or 7 straight seasons or something like that. Yeah. So he's durable, and that's another great thing with AJ Pierzynski.
Well, he's also a nice little stopgap. You can have Christian Vasquez
can't wait for him to come up.
Blake Swihart come up too. So
don't forget about Dan Butler.
You love Dan Butler.
Yeah,
you're obsessed with.
That's the new infatuation. Will Middlebrooks is going to take a backseat to Dan Butler.
I don't think so.
He could. The way you talk about Butler, I think Middlebrooks should be watching himself. But I like what Pierzynski's done so far behind the plate. He's only batting 182, and at this point, it seems like his batting average and his on-base percentage are going to be the exact same. He's never going to walk.
He had 11 all last year. 11 walks all last year.
I feel like he refuses to walk.
Yeah.
Hey, Napoli, take a back seat because Pierzynski's taking the strikeout king.
No.
It'll be a battle.
He doesn't strike out a lot.
Well, I mean, right now, Napoli leads the team along with Middlebrooks with 4 strikeouts.
I love how you threw
has
that
3.
in there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Johnny Gomes actually leads the team 6 strikeouts. He's doing terrible.
Yeah.
He's 1 for 10.
Guys, we're 4 games in.
But every single batting average.
He's doing awful.
Listen,
can we let the stats
Johnny Gomes is the guy that you want to go to war with, though, So, I mean, after all of the stuff that he's been saying.
John Farrell didn't want to do that.
Speaking of Gomes,
back it up a
speaking
little
of
bit,
Gomes,
Johnny.
can we just quickly, before we go to break, what I didn't expect him to actually wear that Star Spangled Banner blazer.
He bought it for everyone.
Yeah, but initially he said that wasn't the plan to wear it to the White House, and then he just wore it, and he looked like a clown.
You know, he did.
I think buckles were the ugliest thing.
But at least it wasn't the entire team wearing that.
Oh,
where
that
it
would have
was,
looked awful.
Where it was just Johnny Gomes. You know, it's sort of like it lightens the mood a little bit. He clearly, like, I bet he loves WWF, and you know, he's America.
Ric Flair.
Right, exactly. He reminds me of that kind of person.
Well, that's why he punts his helmets, you know.
Well, right, and hey, if that's how you want to celebrate your patriotism and the love of your country, going to the White House.
I'm not gonna lie though, his recent comments and that move that with the White House, he's a tool.
He's a little bit of a tool bag.
He's becoming a tool.
You didn't
Johnny
think
Gomes?
that before?
Oh yeah.
Wait, what comments are you talking about?
You didn't think that before?
Did you hear that when he was like, "Oh, they wouldn't have won without me. Like it was all me. Like all about me." That's
he didn't say those exact words.
No, but
he's close.
I'm paraphrasing.
You get the sense he's a little me.
He
know,
is.
At the end of the World Series when
he said that all the teams that picked him up won the World Series because of him. That's what he said.
Sure. Yeah.
Right, so maybe, this is the last year of his contract, so maybe this is the last year of Johnny Gomes here in Boston, but we'll find out. All right, first break of the early morning here. We'll be right back here on the Sports Blast, ESPN New Hampshire.
Get to Peters of Nashua's huge Kia clearance sale going on now. Peters Kia must clear out their remaining 2013 Optimas and Optima hybrids, and that means huge savings for you. How much will you save? How about a whopping $5,680 off MSRP on a 2013 Optima hybrid? And that includes Kia's standard 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Find this and other offers at peterskia.com. Offer valid on stock number 13K523 with MSRP of $27,580.
Ryan Frank of Pelham High School is our Apple Therapy Student Athlete of the Week. Ryan is the senior captain of the Pythons basketball team and a terrific student in the classroom. I recently had a chance to catch up with Ryan on the eve of a big playoff game. Congratulations on being named the Apple Therapy Student Athlete of the Week.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate the time here. I know you're busy. A lot of success on the floor this year under head coach Matt Ryan. You were telling me off air a moment ago, the key in your mind has been the chemistry of the 7 seniors.
Yeah, that's right. We've been playing together for about 8 years now, so I mean, we know the ins and outs of each other. We know all the little tendencies that we like to do on the court, so we work really well together. Everything just flows.
Is basketball your favorite sport?
Yeah. Up until about a year or two ago, it was baseball, but then, because I mean, I was really never that good at basketball. I was one of the worst players on the team up until freshman year. I didn't make the middle school basketball team, so freshman, sophomore year is when basketball really became a big part of my life. So.
And all of a sudden, you just kind of got good, or what happened there overnight? Seemingly.
Well, the big thing was I hit like a 6-inch growth spurt. I'm actually 5'10". I have like a 6'3" wingspan though, so that's part of my repertoire.
Joined by our male student athlete of the week, Ryan Frank of Pelham High School. 3.83 GPA in the classroom. You've got some options next year. You're looking to jump into accounting. Has school always kind of come easy for you?
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny because a lot of people, they make fun of me because I'm like one of the biggest procrastinators out of everybody. I mean, I wait till the last second to get everything done, but all that matters is I get the job done when it comes down to it. So.
That sounds like something I used to say when I was your age. Very good. Why accounting?
I've always been good with numbers. You know, math was one of my favorite subjects. I think it was my sophomore year. I took accounting 1 as one of my classes, and ever since then, I fell in love with it. You know, it just came really easy to me. Yeah, I like dealing with numbers and taxes and stuff like that, so kind of cool. I enjoy it.
You're also a member of the student athlete leadership team. What does that mean?
Well, pretty much I tutor kids when they need help, so it's not bad. I like it. I'm actually a summer camp counselor too, so I kind of know how to deal with kids, but I don't mind dealing with younger kids. I'm not going to say I have a way with them, but I know how to communicate with them well. So.
Ryan is now eligible for a $2,500 scholarship, which will be awarded to our male and female Student Athlete of the Year award winners in May. To find out how to nominate your son or daughter, visit ESPNNewHampshire.com.
With 6 New Hampshire locations, Apple Therapy's comprehensive orthopedic rehabilitation clinics offer convenient access to a wide variety of services. At each clinic, Apple Therapy strives to bring relief to patients by assuring the highest level of care in a comfortable environment, and they are networked to most providers and all insurance companies. Apple Therapy will maintain full and open communication between you and your physicians and therapists for your peace of mind. You can find Apple Therapy in Amherst, Bedford, Londonderry, Manchester, and Nashua, and online at appletherapy.com.
ESPN New Hampshire Sports Center.
A banner was raised yesterday at Fenway Park, and the Boston Red Sox received their 2013 World Series rings during yesterday's opening day ceremony, but Boston would lose their home opener 6-2 to Milwaukee. The Brewers broke a 2-2 tie in the ninth inning against Edward Mujica, who surrendered 4 runs and 5 hits, effectively ending the day for the Sox, who are now 2-2 on the year. Game 2 against the Brewers is tonight. First pitch at 7:05. It's Clay Buchholz for the Sox. Willie Peralta gets the start for Milwaukee. The Bruins have dropped 2 straight to Detroit and Toronto. The Bees are 8 points ahead of Pittsburgh for top spot in the East. With 5 games left to play, they face off against the Flyers later today in a matinee game at TD Garden. Puck drops at 1 o'clock. The Celtics have dropped 7 straight games after losing to Philadelphia at home last night, 111 to 102. No easy feat considering the 76ers are one of just 3 teams with a worse record than the Celtics, who now sit at 23-53 with 6 games remaining. The Green take on the Pistons tonight at 7:30 in Detroit. Those are your blasted weekend updates. Be sure to listen in on ESPN Radio and the ESPN Radio app. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/thesportsblast. Check us out on www.sportsblast.co and tweet us at SportsBlastNH. I'm David Pollard. Don't go anywhere. The Sports Blast continues right now.
Anniversary of Major League, David Ross presents a one-man tribute. With David Ross as Lou Brown.
Forget about the curveball, Ricky. Give him the heater.
David Ross as Pedro Serrano.
Hats for bats. Keep bats warm. Gracias.
David Ross as Willie Mays Hayes. David Ross as Rick Vaughn.
All right, Vaughn. They say you're a pitcher. You're not much of a dresser. We wear captain sleeves at this level, son.
And David Ross as Roger Dorn.
Come on, Dorn, get in front of the damn ball. Don't give me this Olay bull.
David Ross's Major League.
Welcome back to the Sports Blast here on ESPN New Hampshire and ESPNNewHampshire.com. Your call-in number is 603-883-9900. Your text line is 50352. That was awesome. David Ross's version of Major League.
Yes.
I watched that yesterday 3 or 4 times. That was really funny. I love
Fantastic.
David Ross. Really cool guy. I want to pick up with some of this Red Sox talk here, but one thing that Brian actually just mentioned in the break that I actually forgot to bring up in the first segment was everyone's reaction to Ryan Braun yesterday. That was amazing. Some of the things I was hearing in the stands.
He got cheered at Miller Park.
Yeah, that was awful. Yeah, I mean, that's his hometown. Rather, that's his home ballpark.
Red Sox fans cheered Ortiz, and he was on the list.
Yeah,
he was on the list a few years back. If
Red Sox Ryan Braun was officially suspended.
But if Red Sox fans think that they are actually above cheering someone who got suspended for steroids, we're not. Okay, I would assume that we would cheer in the same manner that everyone at Miller Park did.
Here's my rebuttal to that, Dave. David Ortiz did it allegedly did it when it was not yet illegal. There was no system in place. Ryan Braun got off once on a technicality and then got caught up with the biogenesis scandal. Yep. And by the way, he denied it.
Yeah,
right. And made a whole mess out of the whole entire thing.
And then got suspended. Then he was like, okay, yeah, I made a mistake. So that's really what led up to it.
Right, I agree with that.
Down with him.
I think that the main reason that people are booing him, though, is because people view him as a cheater who used steroids. Yeah. I don't think that people were in their heads booing him yesterday because he tried to screw up the test and mess up the guy who gave him the test.
That's another reason why.
That's not why I was booing him. That's not why I was booing him. I was booing him because
I think it's the steroids.
And one thing that I loved from the Milwaukee broadcast on opening day when he was getting cheered at Miller Park was, wait until they go to Boston later this week. Those fans can be ruthless. And I was just thinking to myself, oh yeah, and I will be there.
In the same sense that Derek Jeter is going to get gifts from everybody this season going around the MLB, Ryan Braun is going to be booed at every visiting stadium that he appears at this year.
That's his present. That's his welcoming party.
There you go.
Welcome back.
But the opponents, I agree with Dave. I think if the person that did steroids is on your side, it's okay. Because on your team, he's going to produce, he's going to hit home runs, and that's what you want. But
listen,
question.
Ron is off to a horrible
Manny
start,
Ramirez got caught
he is.
at Fenway, would fans boo Manny?
No. They would have welcomed him back with open arms if he was still a great hitter and he came back.
That's a tough one.
For the Red Sox
situation.
Ortiz was on the list. There just wasn't a system in place. There was no suspension handed down.
If it happened today, I'd say, a lot of people would lose respect. But back then, it was kind of ticky-tack, and we're still not sure what he used. And this, I mean, it's kind of a different
like Manny
situation.
Using female hormone products.
Sure, but it's still along the same lines. Just because there wasn't a system in place, Ortiz didn't get in trouble for it. He did essentially the same thing as Ryan Braun.
Yeah, well, Ortiz is off to a hot start,
Right.
And I actually love that because one thing that we were talking about last week or 2 weeks ago was giving him the extension, and he hit a home run in his second game. So that's good. Get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Can I say small sample size?
Small sample size. That's true. Exactly. I was gonna come in here and make fun of Will Middlebrooks, but he homered yesterday. So he's hitting 500 after getting off to a horrendous start in his first couple games. Wait, what?
He's hitting 500 in the last 2 games.
That's what I meant.
He's hitting 131 right now.
Yeah, what I meant was over the last 2 games he's hitting 500, so 250 overall. But
231 on the year.
He's batting like Will Middlebrooks right now.
Yeah,
he is.
And Brian was happy yesterday when he hit that home run. I was too. He crushed that.
Yeah. Too bad no fans knew who hit the home run.
Yeah, you were telling me about that. People walked by you and
I asked them who just hit the home run.
Well, isn't there a different number now?
No,
for Middlebrooks.
No, he's the same number as last year.
Oh, okay.
But they announce who's out at bat. Like,
you can see who's
People
batting.
Don't pay attention.
Why don't they pay attention? You're at Fenway. You pay attention.
No, see, that's what happens. See, I was in the bleachers, and honestly, there were people behind me having a conversation about like their social life. Oh, what are you doing after this, guys? We're at the bleeping ballpark. It's opening day at Fenway. Can you please watch the game?
It's ridiculous.
And I was actually telling Mark when we were at Dunkin' Donuts before our show. I was saying, sometimes there's different types of fans, right? I was sitting next to another guy who was literally narrating every pitch as it happened. I hate that type of fan. It's like, oh, okay, full count, 2 outs. That means the runners will be off with the pitch. It's like, shut up, dude.
I love those play-by-play.
For your in-game analysis.
He's giving me play-by-play, and he's not talking to anyone but himself. It's like, I understand the game of baseball. I've been watching it my entire life. Thank you. I understand the strategy. You don't have to explain it to me.
I would have turned around and said, all right, I'm not listening to WEI right now. I'm not listening to Nesson right now. I'm watching a game in front of me. I know the game of baseball. If I didn't know the game of baseball, I wouldn't have came to a Red Sox game.
That's why if I ever do that, I'll be like, use like a different voice. Be like, and now batting.
Right. Well, you know what you should have done is when he stopped talking for a second, you should have went back down there when the inning started, said, all right, and we're back.
All right, back to you, Jeff.
Find out his name and then just
be like, it was just like,
God,
all right, they're bringing in their lefty specialist to face Carp. That means Johnny Gomes will be pinch hitting. Literally, that's what he was. I think he was explaining to his girlfriend. I was like, dude, she doesn't even care.
Especially if you're with a woman at a sporting event.
Exactly. I was like, first of all, why'd you bring your girl to the ballpark? We all know that you don't do that unless she actually cares about the game, which most of them don't.
Plenty of women love the Red Sox, but don't actually pay too much attention to it.
Their favorite players skip town to go to the Yankees, though.
Yeah, Jacoby Ellsbury.
Well, Grady Sizemore now the new hot ticket, you know?
Yeah, true. I think I do the same thing at Bruins games, though. I think I pretty much announce what's happening at the Bruins games.
Gosh,
you're one of those fans.
No, I'm one of those guys that will see, like Torrey Krug's in the high slot, and I'll say, like, yeah, Krug in the slot. What are you doing? Pass it to him. And if they do, I'm happy, and if they don't, then I'm really pissed off.
But see, here's what I realized, right? When I'm at the ballpark, I don't really register, or I'm not very cognizant of what I'm saying.
Right.
So I could very well be one of these guys without even realizing it, because I remember one time I went to the ballpark and someone was filming me because we went in a big crowd and, so they were taking video of just like everyone there having a good time. And I think someone caught me saying something along those lines like, okay, this is what's going to happen now. So I could very well be one of those fans that just narrates what's happening.
Let's go Red Sox.
Exactly.
Let's go Red Sox. Let's go Red Sox.
That's one thing
Red Sox.
That's one thing that'll never get old. I don't ever want to hear Tom Werner narrating a game. We have a guy on first base. That means that if we, oh my God.
Well, I also love those fans that like try to correct you when like I don't know, when something like, you know, you forget a number or a name, and they're like, oh no, that's this, and then it's like, no, it's actually this, and then you get into an argument,
right?
Then you start throwing punches.
Guys,
and
breaking news: Mark Teixeira's on the
Yes,
DL.
I just saw that on my phone as well. I got the update.
Oh, look at that! So the Yankees have now lost somebody.
To old age.
To old age, as they will be doing all season long. We're going to hear that quite a few
2
times
out of 3
this
to
year.
the Astros. What a laughing
Yeah, I
joke.
love it. And Ellsbury didn't even play in the finale.
The 2005 All-Star team is looking pretty good right now.
But Mark, going back to
Ichiro
what you were saying is, I remember one time I was in the players' lot and we got there a little late, and someone came out and I missed who it was, and I asked a lady in front of me, and she was like, "Oh, that was Jason Varitek." And I got there late and I caught a glimpse. I was like, "I'm pretty sure that wasn't Tech." And then she was adamant. She's like, "No, it was Varitek." And then 2 seconds later, the real Jason Varitek came out, and I was like, "Tech!" And then she didn't even turn around and look at me. I was like, "Lady, I got here late, and I just saw a glimpse of the guy. That was not Tech."
You also can't diss a fan's favorite player by accident when you're at a Red Sox game. Like, oh, Jackie Bradley, he sucks. Dude, Jackie Bradley Jr. is the center fielder of the future for the Red Sox right now, guy. You got to pay attention to what I'm saying right now, though.
He's my favorite player.
Favorite player on the planet. He's the best center fielder.
So, guys, moving on to the Red Sox side of things. Xander Bogaerts, he looks incredible right now.
Oh,
5 for 13. He has 3 walks, a 500 OBP.
I love more than anything, and he's a guy that strikes me as someone who could literally be the next superstar.
Hanley Ramirez.
Yeah, that type of player. He could hit for average.
Troy
I think he's going to hit for power as well. Oh, my God, Brian, stop with the Troy Tulowitzki talk. He's not that good. Hey, I'm just kidding. Troy Tulowitzki's
He's fantastic.
good. But he's not. Well, can I just ask you something?
Tulowitzki.
Can I ask you something? Why not Mike Trout? Why not Miguel? Why Troy Tulowitzki?
Because he's not as powerful as Cabrera and Trout.
So?
Have you seen Trout?
That's why you like him?
What?
That's why you like him? Because he's less powerful?
No,
dude?
he's talking about why are we comparing
No.
Xander Bogaerts.
I'm saying, what's the infatuation with Tulowitzki? Why not Trout?
Have you seen him play in the field, too?
Tulowitzki has a built kind of like Middlebrook.
Yeah, he does. I think Tulowitzki's built more to be a third baseman, but he plays short for some reason. If you look at his build, he's got the build of a third baseman.
He made a fantastic play earlier
But
this week.
speaking, going back to Middlebrooks, Brian, I hate to crap on your boy and everything, but I don't like him defensively at all.
Many
of his
he
doesn't have an error.
Well.
He doesn't know, but he doesn't.
Well
but I feel like every time a ball is hit sharply to third, I have to hold my breath.
He's an average third baseman at best. I understand that.
Yeah. I think in the future, what you're going to see is what we've talked about is either DH or first. Yeah,
first. Yeah. I know that.
Yeah, I really seriously hope so.
I know that.
And Xander Bogaerts will probably move to third or something to make room for Devin Marrero or
Cicchini.
Who knows?
Cicchini.
Yeah,
That's right. I forgot about Cicchini.
You can't forget about Cicchini.
Garen Cicchini.
What I get worried about is
Mookie Betts.
What I get worried about is when the ball is on the left side or right side of Middlebrooks, and he has to run over to the ball because he's so slow after the ball is hit off the bat. He's flat-footed.
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah,
he's got to move. He's got to get a giddy up in his step too, just like
Absolutely.
Pedroia.
I mean, the one thing that I really love about these young players, obviously Xander Bogaerts is the guy who's really turning heads right now. He looks like he has just been here and done that. Basically, I mean, I think that the World Series experience, the playoff experience from last year, has really helped Xander Bogaerts come into this season. And I know it's only been 4 games, but he's looked like, again, he's been there and he's done that. He's looking right at home on this roster, at shortstop, where he is in the batting order. Everything about Bogaerts right now, to me, says this guy is going to be a superstar in this league.
Oh, yeah.
And it seems like he's right on the path to becoming that.
I'm liking the lineup, even though they leave runners on base.
What are they, 7 for 30 with runners in scoring position?
I'll look that up.
Something
but
like
they've
that,
left 33 runners on base.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, the offense has to be better. I mean, obviously in the Orioles series, the offense was much better than we saw yesterday. But one thing that we haven't addressed yet is the starting pitching has looked really good all around. The bullpen yesterday obviously imploded, but every starter so far has only allowed 2
runs
runs
by the bullpen anyway.
That's right.
This season.
Mojica. And it was just Mojica by himself.
It was just Mojica. I mean...
Miller allowed a run to score, but it was
inherited,
charged to Mojica. So it was an inherited runner. But I don't know why Farrell left Mojica in that long. But that's a separate discussion altogether. I'm really impressed with the starting pitching so far. The start that you got out of John Lester, the Lackey start, even Dubront. He was taken out, and I think he went 5 1/3 or something.
5 1/3, yeah.
He only had 73 pitches. He could have gone longer, but he had the shaky 4th inning. He was a little shaky in the 5th after cruising the first 3 innings. So I like what what we've seen. Obviously, Buchholz makes his first appearance tonight, his first start. But so far, I really like what we've seen out of the starters.
Yeah, Dupont, his consistency, making the pitch after pitch after pitch after pitch, just trying to create a consistency of not, wiping your hands down, wiping the ball down. He's staying with it, and that's what you have to do, because if not, he starts throwing. He starts throwing balls and starts walking.
Did you see Lackey in his start? He was moving fast.
He had one inning with 35 pitches, and he could have had a complete game.
Yeah, no, Lackey, and he was moving quickly too. He would get the ball and he'd work quickly, just like Jake Peavy.
6 strikeouts. So the Red Sox are 3 for 31 with runners in scoring position.
3 for 31.
Right,
so that's
which is concerning, because you need to obviously hit when you've got runners in scoring position in the clutch. But
first game they were over 10.
It's also slightly encouraging because it is early in the year, and I think that it's good they're getting runners on base to begin with. Eventually, they're going to drive those runners in.
But if Jacoby Ellsbury was on the team, I don't think they'd be in this position right now with runners in scoring position. He steals bases, he gets on base. His on-base percentage was through the roof last year.
They are getting runners on base is what I'm saying. I'm encouraged by the fact that they've left, 29 or 30 runners stranded on base.
31 with runners in scoring position.
Okay. 3 for 31 with runners in scoring position.
But they are getting runners on base. So that's where I'm slightly encouraged, but hopefully, they start kicking in the clutch. I just think it's early in the year, so that's going to come.
Yeah. Right. Right. I'm not too worried about it. Again, as I said, we're 4 games in. We've got 158 more. They're gonna cash in some of these runners.
Oh yeah,
so.
It's gonna be a long season.
Another quick break here. We'll be coming back with That's BS. Don't go anywhere.
Bedford Ambulatory Surgical Centers are state-of-the-art ambulatory surgical centers where surgeons perform a broad range of outpatient surgical procedures, everything from orthopedic and sports medicine to gastroenterology and neurology. Their centers offer a safe, convenient, high-quality, and lower-cost alternative to inpatient hospitalization. For more information, log on to bedfordsurgical.com or call them at 603-622-3670. That's 603-622-3670. Bedford Ambulatory Surgical Centers. High-quality care at a reasonable price.
If you're in the market for a used car
or a previously purchased motor vehicle,
Capital Auto Auction in Manchester can help you find what you're looking for
and
save you a ton of money. Capital Auto Auction has never had a
massive emergency inventory liquidation reduction sell-off
or even a
biggest savings of the year special.
The
real
way to save money on your next vehicle is to bypass those guys altogether and get the Capital Auto Auction in Manchester. Capital Auto Auction lets you buy like the dealers do, but without the big dealer markup. Auctions are every Saturday at 11 a.m. and online at 2 p.m. Plus, during the week, Capital Auto Auction has a select number of vehicles available for purchase. Just stop in on Tuesday through Friday, meet the reserve bid, and the car is all yours. If you want variety, Capital Auto Auction has cars, trucks, minivans, SUVs, and occasionally a motorcycle or even a boat. If you're ready to save money on your next vehicle and buy like the dealers do, get to Capital Auto Auction. Just off Exit 1 on Route 101 in Manchester. You can find the list of current vehicles now at CapitalAutoAuction.com.
They fought for our country. They defended our way of life. And now, they live on the streets. The same streets they sacrificed their lives to protect. Right now, there are over 600 homeless veterans living in New Hampshire, and over 7,000 are at severe risk of becoming homeless. The Veterans First Transitional Housing Program at Harbor Homes is a wonderful program that gives homeless veterans and their families a place to call home while they transition back into civilian life. If you know of a veteran that has been forced to live on the streets or could be at risk of losing their home, or if you just want to learn more, please contact Supportive Services for Veteran Families at www.harborhomes.org or call 603-882-3616. 603-882-3616. They fought for our country. They defended our way of life. And now, you can help them get back to the way of life they fought to protect. www.harborhomes.org.
My brother was 16.
My daughter Lauren was in preschool.
I got it in July.
Anyone, anywhere, anytime. Meningococcal disease can be devastating.
She lost a hand, her feet, and nearly her life.
It killed my brother in 18 hours.
Vaccination is the best protection. Today, health officials recommend immunization for children ages 11 through 18.
Immunization can save your child's life.
To learn more, visit nmaus.org. A message from the National Meningitis Association.
ESPN New Hampshire Sports Center.
A banner was raised yesterday at Fenway Park, and the Boston Red Sox received their 2013 World Series rings during the opening day ceremony, but Boston would lose their home opener 6-2 to Milwaukee. The Brewers broke a 2-2 tie in the ninth inning against Edward Mujica, who surrendered 4 runs and 5 hits, effectively ending the day for the Sox, who are now 2-2 on the year. Game 2 against the Brewers is tonight. First pitch is at 7:05. It's Clay Buchholz for the Sox. Willie Peralta gets the start for Milwaukee. The Bruins have dropped 2 straight to Detroit and Toronto. The Bees are 8 points ahead of Pittsburgh for the top spot in the East. With 5 games left to play, they face off against the Flyers later today in a matinee game at TD Garden. Puck drops at 1 o'clock. The Celtics have dropped 7 straight games after losing to Philadelphia at home last night, 111-102. They are now 23-53 with 6 games remaining. The Green take on the Pistons tonight at 7:30 in Detroit. Those are your blasted weekend updates. Be sure to listen in on ESPN Radio and the ESPN Radio app. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/thesportsblast. Check out our website at www.sportsblast.co and tweet us at sportsblastnh. Again, that's at sportsblastnh. I'm David Pollard. Don't go anywhere. The Sports Blast continues right now.
It's time for That's BS.
You better check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Only on ESPN New Hampshire.
I don't believe you.
He's a liar. He's lying to us, man. And ESPNNewHampshire.com.
All right, welcome back to the Sports Blast, ESPN New Hampshire and ESPNNewHampshire.com. It is now time for That's BS. Got a good list as always. Although the first item on this list, I got to be honest, I really don't think this is BS. I mean, Eric Decker, who is now a New York Jet, bought the number 87 from Jeff Cumberland for $25,000.
I just think it's BS that people have to buy numbers from people.
He bought it for $25,000, and he also bought him a steak dinner. Why is that BS, Brian?
It's not BS because it happens all the time. What's BS is his contract. He's not worth his money.
5 years, 36 for Eric Decker. I think he's a good receiver. I mean,
no, $25,000.
I think he's the next Win Corbett for the Jets. I do. Actually better, maybe.
Yeah.
But except they don't have a quarterback to throw
Yeah, that's true.
But...
Hey, they have Michael Vick and Geno Smith, so that's obviously going to be very interesting.
So you mean Geno Smith?
What?
So you mean just Geno Smith?
And Michael Vick.
Michael Vick, no.
He's a broken man.
He's done.
We'll see what happens there. I think that Vic is going to wind up taking that spot.
Yeah, I don't think Geno Smith's quite ready.
I don't know. I don't think he has the arm that he used to.
I remember when Geno Smith was getting drafted, and I remember how he just kept getting passed over, and they showed that shot of him holding his head in his hands, and then it was like, okay, and the Jets now select Geno Smith, and then they went back to him, and he's still holding his head in his hands.
But going back to Jeff Cumberland, I think it favors him because he doesn't make too much money, so he gets a steak dinner and
$25K
from Eric Decker.
All you lose is a number that you can't even see on the back of your jersey.
Yeah.
You know, you're not looking at that thing. You're not paying attention to it. People think it matters.
He doesn't have any sponsorships.
You can be superstitious. That's all well and good. I understand athletes are superstitious and they want their numbers.
Deshaun Jackson won't get his number 10. You know.
He won't because RG3 has it. RG3 has 10.
Well, do you think that Deshaun Jackson's going to play any worse because of that?
He's going to play worse than
you think
I love how guys change teams all the time, but they're refusing to change their numbers. I don't understand that. Like, come on, you just changed your uniform. Might as well just get a new number.
It messes with their mental state. You know?
No, it's about sponsorships. Because
that too,
and jerseys. People have a bunch of like RG3 jerseys. I'm sure.
Like that's why Stephen Drew took JD Drew's number.
Wasn't he number 7 prior?
Yeah.
Well, Stephen Drew.
That's probably because JD.
Where was Stephen Drew before he signed with the Red Sox?
Arizona,
the Diamondbacks.
Let me look it up.
He was with the D-backs.
He played for the Dodgers before the Diamondbacks.
No, you're thinking of JD. I don't think. No, Stephen Drew never played. He was a career. No, Stephen Drew was a career Diamondback.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. He
started with the D-backs and
he was a career.
He went
to
Oakland.
Yes, you're right. He was with Oakland briefly. I forgot about that. That's right. Yes.
So he was number 6 with Arizona and number 5 with the.
He just
Oakland
wanted to look
Athletics.
like his brother.
No, he wanted so that everyone who had Stephen Drew, JD Drew jerseys before could just be like, all right,
the only thing
about this. Who had a JD Drew jersey in the first place? Wait, Brian was about to raise his hand.
No, I didn't.
Brian, you definitely do, based on the look on your
I
face.
have Mike Cameron and Jason.
Why did you buy a Mike Cameron jersey?
I thought he was going to be decent.
At the age of 38?
Yeah.
On a 2-year deal?
Yeah.
The only thing that's BS about this item is that jersey numbers do not affect how you play.
Yeah.
All right, so I think this is not BS. The Eric Decker buying the number 87, I think that's fine. That happens a lot.
Yeah, it's whatever.
So, all right, next one. This one's funny. Junior Lake wears the wrong Cubs jersey. This was during a regular season game? Or?
Yes, that was the second game of the season.
So they were supposed to come out wearing Cubs.
Cubs.
And then he came out with Chicago.
Yeah.
Right.
How do you make that mistake? How do you? That's the equipment manager's fault.
Yes,
by the way.
I was about to say there's no one to blame but the equipment manager.
Yeah, how do you put the wrong jersey out?
Well, it is the Cubs. Maybe they just don't have enough jerseys to go
Also,
around.
in that same game, in the 9th inning, it was the same game. Pedro Strop, and the catcher collided, and the catcher got hurt. The catcher fell down. How does that happen?
Catchers are usually more worn down,
But he's wearing all this
it's
gear.
It's like the third game of the season. He has all this gear and he's running into the pitcher.
Are we trying to say that catchers in baseball are among the more athletic and durable athletes?
I'd say they are
in the
more,
world?
no, not durable, but certainly it takes a certain amount of an athleticism.
No, but
he's definitely
you have to be strong.
He was bigger than Strop.
And also,
Strop didn't even fall down.
Catchers, remember, they have to squat for 9 innings, and they have to
it's
every time there's a ground ball, you got to run down the first base line. So people forget about that. Exactly.
And they had the most equipment on.
Exactly. So that's stuff, and they have to go and hit, and then they have to take their equipment off, put it back on. But going back to this Junior Lake wearing the wrong Cubs jersey, which absolutely I think is BS on the part of the equipment manager, I saw something a little stranger this spring training. Jonathan Papelbon came out wearing a Carlos Ruiz jersey.
Yeah, that's weird.
I mean, that's different. I mean, you don't see someone else's last name on the jersey.
Yeah.
And he came out and he pitched an inning.
You start to think that players just don't pay attention to anything that they do until they get out onto the field. Everything else is someone's tying their shoes in the locker room.
It's like that episode of The Office where Creed they switch out his apple for a potato and he takes a bite and he has no idea.
Yeah.
That's literally like what it is with the jerseys.
But we were talking about jerseys with Deshaun Jackson, RG3, switching numbers. This just comes to show that it doesn't matter what's on the front of the jersey or the back of the jersey.
Just put it on.
It doesn't even matter if it's the correct jersey.
Just put it on. Go
All
play
right, that's
baseball.
BS for the equipment manager. Brian, I know you like the next one.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I saw this the other day. It was actually right before Matt Holliday had some weird stats that I'm gonna talk about later. But the Reds bullpen phone decided not to work during a game, and so the manager had to signal to Votto, and Votto had to signal to Phillips. Phillips had to signal to Hamilton to signal to the bullpen.
That's arguably
awesome.
the best relay.
You know what that is?
That is not BS. The fact that the bullpen phone at a major league ballpark not working, that is BS.
That is the baseball equivalent of that scene in the third Lord of the Rings movie where they have to light the beacons.
Light the beacons?
They have to warn Rohan that they're ready for battle.
They had to go back to the to Middle Ages.
Yeah.
You know when the center fielder throws the ball to the shortstop? That's the cutoff.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty creative on their part.
I didn't get to see it, but I wanted to see what the signals were to get to the bullpen. It was during an inning, so they had to do this well.
I'm sure it's on MLB.com.
Yeah,
we can check it out in the next break.
Would have been great if Hamilton had to go over to the bullpen and light a little torch, just so it would be almost exactly like that scene from Lord of the Rings.
Hey, maybe David Ortiz smashed that telephone too.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe. The next one's really good. Nolan Ryan, obviously one of the greatest pitchers to ever play this game, 7-time Cy Young Award winner. He threw out a horrific first pitch at the Astros-Yankees game.
Did not get to see this yet.
You have to see it. I mean, I understand.
I feel bad for
Was it worse than John Wall's?
John Wall threw out a first pitch?
Yeah,
where? When did he do that?
It was pretty bad.
I think it was last year. Or the year before at Washington. He, threw it into the dirt.
Nolan Ryan, look, I understand that you're 68 years old, but that's still not so old that you can't complete a simple toss.
Yeah, I've seen 70-year-olds play catch.
You are a former 7-time Cy Young Award winner.
I feel bad for...
I'm sorry. I'm mixing him up with Roger Clemens. Not 7 no-hitters. He's thrown 7 no-hitters. He's actually... Here's the thing about Nolan Ryan. He's never won the Cy Young, actually.
Crazy.
Yeah, Nolan Ryan, I apologize. Nolan Ryan has never won a Cy Young. 7-time no-hitter. That he's thrown, including, I think, a perfect game. That's what I meant by Nolan Ryan. You're one of the greatest pitchers of all time. That's my overall point.
Yeah, you should be able to
throw strikes.
do it.
So there was another first pitch that I saw. The guy literally handed the ball to the catcher.
Because he was scared to throw the ball.
Well, he was right up against the catcher. He was just toss.
Did you also? I know Marty Walsh threw out the first pitch yesterday. You know, the new mayor of Boston, and when I thought it was funny because when Menino got up to hand the ball over to him, it kind of looked for a second like Menino didn't want to give the ball to Marty Walsh.
Whenever Menino had done a first pitch the last couple of years, he's always been like, he didn't go to the mound. He like threw it into the stands. There was like someone in the stands.
Well, I mean,
and he'd throw like 4 feet.
Menino can't throw.
Yeah,
I mean,
so why would he want to throw the?
No, it was more of a metaphor for me that I was looking at.
Right.
20 years, Menino's the mayor, and he said, "Now we're turning the ball over to Marty Walsh," and then it really, he was almost playing with him, like, "You want the ball? I'm gonna keep the ball."
What I loved about the Nolan Ryan thing too was Craig Biggio was the catcher receiving the ball, so it was like him playing second base again, going for the ball because it was like a ground ball into the opposite direction.
That was just awful. That was one of the
too
worst.
old for this.
And it was just unfortunate. Speaking of ceremonial first pitches, obviously what happened with the Angels, that was just awful. If you guys saw it with Don Baylor, I mean, what a great, he was a great player during his playing days. Obviously, I believe he has a calcium deficiency or something.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he broke his leg. And Vlad Guerrero, who actually threw out the first pitch to him, thought he was joking. He thought he was kidding. And then he realized it was...
That's kind of BS on Guerrero's part.
No, I mean, he thought he was just messing around, and then he realized, oh my God, this is actually a serious thing here.
Yeah.
Like, he needs to be carried off.
Yeah.
So that obviously, when I saw that, I felt terrible for Don Baylor,
it's just a bad coincidence.
Yeah, but I feel terrible about what I feel like an idiot now. 7-time Cy Young Award winner. No, that's Roger Clemens. Yeah, that's actually one of the things that I was astonished about is Nolan Ryan never won the Cy Young Award.
Crazy.
Ever.
Crazy.
He threw 7 no-hitters. I don't know if he ever threw a perfect game, but I know he threw 7 no-hitters, and that's what I meant when I said 7-time Cy Young Award winner. Never won a Cy Young. My goodness. I don't know how that happens. Yeah. He's one of the greatest pitchers ever.
And his winning percentage is what, like 600, 700? Right
I think you're shooting a little high there. I don't know if it was quite that good.
No?
But
that's been around 6.
Yeah. 600.
Not like 700. Maybe like 6 something. We can look it up.
Yeah, because 500 would mean like he had the same amount of wins.
That's true. I didn't go 300 and 300. But
come on.
Come on, man.
Yeah, it's true. No, he had a good winning percentage, but 7 no-hitters. So come on, you got to get it
This last one we have, there's a B delay in the Giants D-backs.
Seems to be happening a lot.
Yeah, but AJ, it was like during the first inning, and there was like a swarm of bees in center field. AJ Pollock ran down a ball. Okay, he was as he was catching it, he was like swatting away the bees, and then he like ran away, and so they had to like deal with the bees after that point, and they played like "Don't Worry, Be Happy" as like one of the songs as as it was happening.
That's not BS. That's
and
bees
Let It Be also. I like that.
That's bees. Did you plan that before coming in here, Dave?
Maybe.
Yeah, he definitely thought of that.
No, that's horrible. I would hate trying to catch a baseball through a swarm of bees because bees' nature is to, if you mess with them, start stinging you.
Yeah,
so
I'm allergic to bees, so I'd be.
I don't even know.
I'd
I've
be
never
running
been
crazy.
stung.
Yeah,
so.
stay away. Stay away from the bees.
Actually, I wouldn't be running because the more calm you are,
right,
the better you are.
Yeah,
right.
I mean we've all seen Jackass, right?
Stung.
Yeah, I've seen Jackass.
Yeah, though Steve-O freaks out and he gets the worst of it. And who's the other guy there? I forget his
name.
Ryan Dunn? No, it wasn't Ryan Dunn. It was can't remember. But whatever. Either way, you don't want to mess with bees. Bam Margera.
Yeah, Margera.
Yeah. You don't want to mess with bees. Yeah. Absolutely not. I thought the other thing that was BS, since we've got some time here and there's less items. However, Ortiz at the White House when he took the selfie, and then it turned out to be a promotional tactic for Samsung.
It wasn't, though. He said it wasn't, and I'm buying it. I think it wasn't premeditated. He just pulled it out.
Well, the World Series ring presentation was presented by Samsung, so you never know.
The whole entire thing seemed like a spiel to me. So, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what the whole entire deal was, but, you know, who was it in the crowd there that said cha-ching too?
I don't know. I thought it might have been Buckles, but I'm not sure who exactly. Who's
probably Gomes.
David Ross.
Napoli. Gomes.
Napoli. Might have been Napoli.
My Napoli. That was hilarious.
Napoli, you want a cannoli?
Oh, my God. But I have to say that just seeing Gomes go in what he did, wearing the blazer for real at the White House, that was just over the top.
Mm-hmm. I love the fact that he said Mayor Menino before he said Napoli. It's just a coincidence.
And in classic fashion, screwed up a Red Sox player's name.
All right, that wraps up hour number 1 here on the Sports Blast. We'll be coming back with Ricky Doyle from NESN.com. Don't go anywhere, ESPN New Hampshire.
It's called March Madness for a reason. The last-second shots.
For the tie. Got it!
The game-changing decisions.
And a steal. Bam!
Will be heard right here on your home for the NCAA tournament. ESPN New Hampshire. Infinity of Nashua is proud to sponsor ESPN New Hampshire's live coverage through the NCAA tournament.
And the Louisville Cardinals are the 75th NCAA college basketball champions.
March Madness, driven by Infinity of Nashua, right here on ESPN New Hampshire.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Colin Cowherd.
Paulina Gretzky's on the cover of Golf Digest, and she looks hot, because she is. And apparently LPGA golfers are upset. Well, excuse me, LPGA, but Natalie Golbus, you've had great-looking golfers who are in bikinis and have done layouts and spreads in magazines. Sorry. Like Danica Patrick. If you don't want to be known as a sex symbol, then don't do a GoDaddy ad in a bikini. You know, I always hear this, oh, women are sexualized. Or sometimes they create that. Go look at Twitter accounts. Even for people in the media, women in the media, they're like ad agencies. I mean, there's all sorts of girls out. How you doing? So, you know, this is one of these things where I constantly hear this. It's just, oh, women are being marginalized. Sometimes they're doing the marginalizing.
Changing your oil regularly helps keep your vehicle running at peak performance. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, pick up a 5-quart jug of Haviland conventional motor oil for $15.95. Protect your engine with a 5-quart jug of Haviland conventional motor oil for $15.95 at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
We're getting hit hard, Captain. We got enemy activity in the southeast corner. Requesting backup.
Delta team to the southeast corner. Alpha team, reinforce all entrances. We need pillows over here.
The cat has taken down the blanket wall. Repeat, the cat has taken down the blanket wall.
Spring is calling. Come into Lowe's and receive free basic installation of Stainmaster carpet with the purchase of Stainmaster carpet and pad. Lowe's, never stop improving. Offers valid 4 through 5/26, U.S. only. Covers basic installation only. Exclusions apply. See store or Lowes.com for details.
In the last decade, more than 400,000 people died on America's roadways. That's one person every 13 minutes. Roadway deaths strike the young or old at any time of the year, at any hour of the day or night. And it doesn't matter whether you drive a car on a highway, ride a motorcycle or bicycle on a country road, or simply take a walk near traffic. Everyone is at risk. Since 1969, members of the American Traffic Safety Services Association have worked diligently to make our nation's roadways safer by providing the majority of roadway safety features, including bright signs and pavement markings, guardrails, and crash cushions. These are just some of the roadway devices that save thousands of lives each day. Since most of our roadways were built in the 1950s, there's so much more work that needs to be done to reach the ultimate goal of 0 deaths. Safer roads save lives. To learn how you can get involved, visit atssa.com. A public service message from the American Traffic Safety Services Association.
Hey, got a question. Do you like bacon? Who am I kidding, right? Everybody loves bacon. You want more of everything you love about bacon, then you need to pick up Wright Brand Bacon, the bigger, better bacon. Wright Brand Bacon is cut extra thick and meaty, so every slice is a big slice of bacon heaven. When you've got Wright Brand Bacon sizzling on the grill, its enticing scent is impossible to resist. So hearty and juicy and incredibly delicious. Wright Brand Bacon is the stuff bacon dreams are made of. Wright Brand Bacon, the bigger, better bacon. Visit biggerbetterbacon.com.
This is Southern New Hampshire's home for the Boston Red Sox. ESPN New Hampshire, 1250 WGAM Manchester, 900 WGHM Nashua.
The war had been going on for 2 years, and I got the calling. I got the calling to join the service and support the boys over there.
Thousands of American troops have come home from the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, suffering the effects of post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injuries.
I never thought that I would have PTSD. I thought that I had enough coping skills.
I don't think anybody who goes into combat could ever honestly say that they're not different when they come home.
What you take as a simple thing is not so simple for me anymore.
I'm gonna have my good days and my bad days, and I really don't like those bad days.
I would say to those people that are out there, don't brush us aside and don't count us out.
Help the USO support these troops and their families. Hear more of their stories at usoinvisiblewounds.org. The wounds are invisible. The stories are real.
At the American Lung Association, we're fighting for a day when we can all breathe easier. We're fighting for clear skies over every city and healthy lungs throughout the country. We're fighting to keep harmful secondhand smoke out of our public spaces and workplaces. And fighting to free millions of Americans from the addictive grip of tobacco and the devastating effects of lung disease. We're fighting for a day when kids no longer battle airborne poisons in their own homes or the fear of an asthma attack. The American Lung Association isn't just fighting for air, we're fighting for all the things that make it worth breathing, and we can use your help. Join us in the fight. Visit fightingforair.org and read about just a few of the many ways the American Lung Association is fighting to protect the air we breathe, both indoors and out. See what you can do at fightingforair.org.
You're listening to the Sports Blast.
Things going on in sports today that will make your brain fall out of your skull.
Only on ESPN New Hampshire and ESPNNewHampshire.com.
All right, welcome back to the Sports Blast here on ESPN New Hampshire and ESPNNewHampshire.com. We have joining us from Nesson.com, Ricky Doyle. Ricky, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Doing good, Ricky.
What's going on, Ricky? Much. I want to start by asking you, Ricky, about yesterday's opening day ceremony at Fenway. Obviously, so well done. Obviously, filled with such emotion from everything from the Red Sox getting their rings to Menino being brought out onto the field with so many Boston sports heroes, and of course the salute to the Boston Fire Department. I wanted to get your thoughts on what did you think of the opening day ceremonies?
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. It was very well done. I mean, these things. You know, these opening day ceremonies, particularly when you don't have a ring ceremony to go with, they kind of get a little hokey. It's kind of the same thing every year, but you know, there's definitely a nice touch, like you said, paying tribute to the firefighters and even the victims of last year's marathon bombing. So I think those are things like that. When you add that into the picture, that's what kind of made it special, at least in my eyes. And then obviously getting the rings, that adds a little flavor to opening day as well.
Have you noticed anything different with the approaches for Xander Bogaerts and Will Middlebrooks to start the season, both in the field and at the plate?
Well, I think Bogaerts is just kind of an extension of what we've already been seeing from him since day one, and I think that's just the ability to use all fields. It just the poise at the plate. I mean, I think that's the word that's kind of been synonymous with him since since he joined the organization. It's just his maturity and his poise and. I think it was pretty evident in spring training this year that he's ready to take the job and run with it. Middlebrooks is the one that, for me at least, going into the season, it was, I thought reasonable to be a little concerned about. I mean, I was a guy a few months ago that was saying that they should re-sign Stephen Drew because, you look at the large sample size from last year, and I mean, it was, like I said, reasonable to be concerned about Middlebrooks, but. To his credit, he showed up in great shape, and I think the biggest thing is, he's feeling good physically, which, obviously last season he was coming off the wrist surgery, so, I mean, maybe that played a factor in his struggles a little bit. But, yeah, he's, approach-wise, I think he's, like Bogaerts, showing an ability to use all fields, and, I think that was when he was at his best last season when he was driving the ball the other way, using that right center field gap, so... those two guys are obviously going to be a big part of the middle of the order, and I think Napoli is getting a lot of credit as being that guy that's I don't want to say fill Manny Ramirez's shoes as being protection for David Ortiz, but he's kind of been the guy getting a lot of the facing the heaviest burden. But I think Bogaerts and Middlebrooks are just as important to that lineup in terms of providing protection for Ortiz.
Yeah. One more question for you, from me at least. Any word on John Lester's contract extension, or is it still basically on pause?
I mean, yeah, that seems to be what's going on now. Is that it's basically they're holding up, sticking to their word that they're going to press pause during the regular season, at least for now. But
yeah,
this is one of these things where I feel like it's kind of inevitable.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm way off base on that, but I had that sense of Ortiz as well. It's just, everything seems to be positive here. I mean, both sides have said. I think Lester said it was amicable is the best way to put it, because these things are never pleasant. You never go into these things saying, "Hey, let's just this is gonna be an awesome negotiation." I mean, there's obviously going to be some give and take, but
hometown
I think
discount,
both sides are realistic about what they need to do. Both sides got to give in somewhat. So I think that this is something that's probably going to get done. When, though, who knows?
Yeah, Ricky, so this is Mark here. In the past, the Red Sox have had that big bat to protect David Ortiz, Manny Ramirez in particular. Do you believe the signing of Mike Napoli, who hit a home run in the second game this year against the Orioles, solidifies that void moving forward?
Well, I mean, I think if you just look at last year, I mean, we're talking about one of the most productive offenses in baseball, so I really don't think scoring runs is going to be a problem for this team this year. And like I said, that they could, now that Bogarts is in the lineup, and I mean, I know it's early in the season, but just what we've seen so far is that this is a guy that could have middle of the order potential, right now. I mean, this season, and you add that into the mix with, you got to figure, like I said, Middlebrooks is probably going to be improved this year, and Napoli already looks like he's in spring training really hopped on cutting down the strikeouts. He's still got a lot of swing and miss early this season, and you add those three guys around Ortiz, and this is a pretty potent lineup. And I think the biggest factor, though, is just their ability to mix and match and choose matchups like they did last year. I mean, you got a guy like Mike Karp sitting on the bench that you can just insert on a whim to provide some, another left-handed bat, and then Johnny Gomes coming off the bench. I think it's just more or less the team is going to be built on depth from top to bottom, not necessarily one guy behind Ortiz. And I think that that's ultimately what's going to make this offense one of the best units in baseball again this year.
Right.
Ricky, looking at the number of stranded runners, the Red Sox have left 33 runners on the base path in 4 games. Are you concerned for their inability to come up with the big hit, or are you sort of encouraged by the fact that it is early in the year, but the Sox are getting on base?
I'd have to go with the latter, because there was a point last season when this was a problem as well. They went to, there was one rough stretch throughout the, very consistent season, and the biggest thing was, the bullpen producing with runners on base. And I think that now you look at a game like yesterday, and that was kind of a microcosm of those struggles from last season. So, they pushed through last year, and I think I don't think it's anything to get you, too concerned about at this point. The timely hits, they're going to come, and like you said, it is encouraging that they're putting so many runners on base, because you got to figure, once the timely hits do start coming, this offense is really going to be moving in the right direction.
And what do you make of Grady Sizemore's performance thus far? And do you anticipate that at some point he will be the leadoff hitter for this team?
When you talk about Grady Sizemore, it's like, who really knows? I mean, in spring training, honestly, going in, I thought maybe he'd just be like a depth guy, kind of like Farrell was saying, kind of provide some competition for Jackie Bradley. But I ultimately thought Bradley would probably end up being the guy, because I didn't think that Sizemore had, the type of production and type of, health progress that he had in him. But he just keeps answering every question thrown his way, and another step forward on opening day with the home run, and then the home opener with the stolen base, and just everything just seems to keep falling. And I think that it's realistic to think that at some point he could be the team's leadoff hitter. He certainly provides that. He certainly is the right mold for it, I guess, especially when you lose a guy like Jacoby Ellsbury. But at this point, I still have a hard time taking that leap of faith and definitively saying, oh, yeah, this guy's going to be, he's going to go back to being a 30-30 threat. But,
right.
I mean, everything at this point points to, it's been positive and points to, him continuing that. But at the same time, in the back of your mind, it's like, oh, no. I mean, he could blow out his knee at any second. You don't know. So at this point, like I said, I don't know if I want to take the leap of faith, but I think I'm probably a little more optimistic than most.
Yeah. And I'm sure once they get Shane Victorino back in the next few weeks, they'll have a few more options in the leadoff spot. Obviously, he doesn't excel as a leadoff hitter, but at least he's more of a prototypical guy in that spot than Daniel Nava right now.
No, absolutely. I mean, you just saw how dynamic that 1-2 combo of Ellsbury and Victorino was last year, and Victorino certainly, the defensive aspect, I think, is what's going to be the biggest thing when he comes back. But if Sizemore keeps making progress and he evolves into this everyday player that I guess the Red Sox hope and he hopes that he can become, then certainly you're going to look at this year versus last year and say maybe the drop off between the Ellsbury Victorino combo to the Sizemore Victorino combo isn't all that drastic.
Yeah. Exactly. Ricky, before we let you go, I wanted to get your thoughts on Felix Doubront in his last start. He was pulled a little early. He went 5 1/3 and was, I think, at 73 pitches. Do you think John Farrell pulled him early as sort of a maintenance move since he had fatigue issues last year and the year before? Or was it more due to the situation? He was a little shaky near the end of his outing. It was a close game. What do you think attributed John Farrell to come out and pull him so early in the game?
Well, I think anytime in that situation, it's probably a combination of both, but there was some, like you said, there was those concerns last year, and also there was a point in spring training this year where, his arm strength wasn't really getting up there. So I think at that point, you look at the situation, and he had been struggling a little bit, and, it was a big point in that game. So I kind of think it was the right move by Farrell to go out there and say, okay, he is dealing with the arm strength problem in the back of his mind, and this is a crucial moment. What's the sense in keeping him out there? And we saw last year that was kind of what doomed his season at times was, his inability to stop the bleeding, I guess would be the best way to put it. When things started to unravel for Doubront, he just kind of, everything went south. So I think it was just Farrell looking at the situation as a whole and saying, you know what, this guy doesn't have it right now. He's probably, he's shown in the past that he can get a little rattled when things don't go his way. So the quick hook came. But, Doubrant's an interesting guy to watch this year because, I just think you look at him, and there's certain times when he seems like he has so much potential. I mean, a big lefty who can generate swing and miss. That's, that's a commodity on any team.
Yeah, it's right.
And he's going to be especially important, if a guy like Buckles doesn't hold up this year. So it's going to be an interesting case. But it's always the case with Doubront. It's just you almost, you just hold your breath and hope for the best when he goes out there sometimes.
Exactly, because he certainly has great stuff, looking at what he was able to do for such a long stretch last year. Awesome.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it was remarkable that the whole World Series thing, because he was a guy that, gets absolutely smoked on the last game of the regular season. You're thinking, this guy is just, you're looking ahead to this year wondering if he's going to bring anything to the table this year, and then he just kind of pops up out of nowhere. So, I mean, I was pretty shocked by that whole situation, but like you said, he does. He has that potential, just a big lefty. Kind of. It was a 3-month stretch last year where he was probably their most consistent starter. So I mean, I think that says a little bit of something about what he could become. It's just a matter of keeping it all together, and he just showed up in spring training in great shape. And there were times during the spring when he featured that overpowering stuff. But again, the arm strength's going to be an issue, and it's just see if he can hold up the entire season.
Awesome. That'll certainly be something to watch. Ricky, thanks so much for coming on with us.
Anytime, guys.
All right, Ricky Doyle of NESN.com. Always enjoy having his insight. And, going back to Felix Doubront, something that we've looked at over the last couple of years and been concerned with was his shape. He'd come into camp out of shape, not in the peak physical condition that one would need to be to start a full season, or rather make 28 to 30 starts in Felix Doubront's case. And this year he showed up in shape for once, just like maybe taking a page out of John Lackey's book from last year. But one thing that worries me about Felix Doubront, guys, is the fatigue factor once we get into August and September.
Well,
and that's something that we have to watch this year.
I think since his innings have been worked up, like before these past 2 seasons, he was just a relief pitcher. Before the past 2 seasons, he was just a reliever. So he had to get used to pitching so many innings. And I think after the past 2 seasons, his hitting numbers have gone up.
Yeah.
And he's the number 3 right now, but he'll probably move around, probably like fifth spot, and like he'll get a day off start off every once in a while. They'll bring up Webster,
Well, sure, but that's if they're not trying to do maintenance on Buckles more so than they are on Doubront.
It's going to be a give and pull with both of those two.
See, I look at Doubront as a viable weapon to put in the rotation after Lackey. I think the 3 spot's perfect because you start off with Lester, then you have Lackey as the righty. You put Doubront as the lefty. It's great balance. I mean, if this guy, he's a horse if he's on. Like, he can go for a long time. It's just a matter of being consistent with his pitches.